The use of AI-powered tools, including transcription, summarization, or other similar features, is prohibited by the MTA for all virtual meetings like the one we're having tonight. Please be assured this presentation will be available to view on the Purple Line website as soon as possible, along with the responses to all the questions that are answered tonight. For those of you who would like a live translation, Microsoft Teams format can translate this evening's comments into a number of languages, including Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, French, and others. Instructions for seeing that live translation are being placed in the chat section of this meeting right now. We would like to kindly ask everyone to please mute your microphones and keep your cameras off until the presentation ends and we move into questions. We would also like to please limit your questions to one at a time so we can get as many live questions as possible for everybody. Now, Catherine, a member of our comms and outreach team, will relay this information to you in Spanish. Catherine?
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo el español, árabe, chino, francés, portugués y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones en vivo están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Catherine. All right. So tonight we're going to do our staff introductions. We're going to see a project status video. We're going to do our construction update focused on work that's been completed, show our progress photos, and upcoming work. And then we're going to touch on some community engagements and then move to our Q&A session. Tonight, you're going to be hearing from our leaders, Ray Biggs II, who's our Senior Project Director for MTA, John Undeland, Communications Director for PLTP, Luis Rivera, our General Manager from PLTO, myself, Carla Julian, Scott Glass, our Construction Area Manager for this segment, and Matt Pripich, our Quarter-Wide Manager. The stations that we're going to be focused on tonight are Lyttonsville and the 16th Street Woodside stations. And now I'll introduce Ray Biggs, who will turn you on to our fall progress video.
Thank you, Carla. Welcome again, everyone, tonight, and thank you for joining us this evening. As you're about to see in our new fall 2025 progress video, momentum on the Purple Line in 2024 has evolved into a tremendous transformation throughout 2025. This video highlights some of the transformational progress across the 16-mile Purple Line alignment. So Chris, let's go ahead and play the video.
It has truly been the year of transformation for the Purple Line project. With construction now more than 80% complete, the new Purple Line tracks tell the story. We are excited to share that tracks have been installed across all of Prince George's County, with more than 75% of tracks complete across the entire project.
Along with track installation, you have likely seen many overhead catenary system poles installed this year. These poles carry the wires that power the Purple Line. At the eastern end of the project, the poles and wires are not only installed, but have already been energized, ready to power up the light rail vehicles.
Just a reminder, always assume light rail system power is on. And please be sure to avoid the Purple Line right-of-way areas. Only cross at designated areas and crosswalks, and be sure to look both ways before you cross.
Across the corridor, stations continue to progress. Canopies, benches, and art and transit installations are being added. Bronze spires in Riverdale, vibrant colors in Long Branch, and more to come. More than 20 roadway crossings that once required detours are now in their completed phase, including the complex intersection of Wayne Avenue and Fenton Street. With the tracks in place, Silver Spring residents can see the vision of a more connected community becoming reality. In Lyttonsville, the second operations and maintenance facility is taking shape. This building and track yard will support the light rail vehicles with an additional control and communications facility and a smaller maintenance facility located in Montgomery County. Another major milestone is the completion of blasting in Bethesda. After years of excavation, the shaft and cavern, located nearly 150 feet, or about 15 stories underground, is finished. Crews are now focused on waterproofing and concrete work, building out the cavern and elevator spaces. Perhaps most exciting during our year of transformation, dynamic testing of the Purple Line has begun. Light rail vehicles are running during nighttime hours between the Glen Ridge Operations and Maintenance Facility and New Carrollton. The vehicles and track systems undergo rigorous checks of safety, operational, and communications. With New Carrollton testing underway, it won't be long before testing expands westward along more sections of the Purple Line.
Seeing a Purple Line light rail vehicle arrive at the first of our 21 stations is an exciting reminder of the hard work and dedication all of our teams bring every day to complete this transformative project. Thank you for your support, patience, and engagement over this past year. We at Maryland's Purple Line are looking forward to coming to a station near you soon.
Thank you, Chris. Here you can see the timeline graphic with some of our upcoming major milestones, including our winter 2025 delivery date of all 28 light rail vehicles to the Glen Ridge Operations and Maintenance Facility on Veterans Parkway, and completing track installation in the spring of next year across the entire alignment. Though I do want to highlight that all the track has been installed across Prince George's County. Tonight, you will see and hear more details about the expanded dynamic testing milestone achieved earlier this summer and mentioned in the video, and where the Purple Line will expand this dynamic testing throughout this fall and into 2026. With that, I will turn it over to Scott to walk us through the construction slides. So thanks, everyone, and I will see you at the end of the presentation. Over to you, Scott.
Thank you, Ray. So our construction update begins here in the Lyttonsville Traction Power Substation. This is right outside of the Montgomery County Maintenance Depot. We've recently completed the installation of the final traction power substation for the Purple Line project. Adjacent to this location at the Rock Creek Park connection with the CCT, we've completed retaining walls between Jones Mill Road, Rock Creek Bridge, and the Rock Creek Trail connection. We've completed the Capitol Crescent Trail underpass. We've completed the East Stream Bank slope stabilization, and we've been continuing the trail connection from the CCT to the Rock Creek Trail system to near readiness for asphalt. Upcoming work in this area will finish the finishing railings on the CCT pedestrian bridge over Rock Creek. We'll complete the fencing through this corridor, and this week we will be starting all of the rail installations down through this corridor, and then followed by the overhead catenary system and poles and wires. Next slide. In the Lyttonsville yard, we have recently completed the LRV maintenance pit at the operations and maintenance facility and installed all of the overhead catenary foundations in this yard. We've continued the construction of the Montgomery County and Lyttonsville operations and maintenance facility. We've completed all of the track drain, track subgrade, the ballast curb, and the fine grading for all of the rail construction in this yard area, and we've been working hard on installing a lot of track in this Lyttonsville yard. In the quarter coming up, we'll be completing all of the interior work and finalizing the OMF building in the next 2 months. We'll complete all of the track installation on these yard spurs, and we'll then follow and finalize all of the installation of the OCS poles and wiring. At the Lyttonsville station, we have completed the CCT connection ramp retaining walls and completed the station platform and canopy. And we've recently installed the art and transit elements. We've been continuing the elevator tower and main stair access and all of the mechanical and electrical work inside of those. And in the next few months, we'll be finishing all of the station elements and continuing the walkway and station access construction, finishing that, and installing the track through this station. Here's some photos of the work where we were erecting the art in transit, which is a structural steel girder with some artwork on it at the access tower and alongside the platform. Just to the east at Stewart Avenue, we have completed the Phase 2 underground stormwater filtration system that is just to the west of Stewart Avenue. We've completed the track installation across Stewart Avenue and continued the track installation from Stewart west toward the Lyttonsville station. In the next quarter, we'll be completing all this track work installation up to the Lyttonsville station and finalizing the road and driveway construction, and then following through in this month with the installation of OCS poles, and then followed by the OCS catenary wiring. On the Capitol Crescent Trail, the CCT, from Grace Church Road to Spring Street, we've had a lot of activity progressing on continuing underground storm drain utility placements, and a lot of walls in progress, continuing retaining wall construction between Grace Church Road and Spring Street. This corridor in the upcoming quarter will complete all of the retaining wall construction and the utility lighting for that section of the CCT trail, and then we'll be asphalt paving the CCT trail this spring. From Talbot Avenue, this whole corridor from Talbot Avenue, it's really 16th Street up to Spring Street. We've been completing supportive excavation activities for crash wall installation between the Purple Line tracks and the CSX tracks. We have completed a major underground 72-inch storm drain crossing underneath the CSX and WMATA tracks. We completed the station platform, the Woodside station platform, and we are ready now. In the coming months, we'll be installing the canopy. And we have been continuing closing all of the gaps in the crash walls in this corridor from 16th Street up to Spring Street. Upcoming work will be completing crash wall construction between Talbot Avenue and 16th Street, and continuing construction of the 16th Street Woodside Station. We'll continue the CCT storm drain and the wall work on the north side of the tracks between 16th Street and Spring Street. The Spring Street Bridge. This has been a very daunting task for us to overcome some challenges that we've had. We've gotten through a lot of the underground work at the abutments and foundations for this bridge. This work required extensive excavation to install a new stormwater management system about 45 feet below the track elevation, tying into the previous storm drain system. It's very space constrained, and it requires extensive coordination with CSX and the MARC train system, as well as the WMATA tracks operating system. And there are 7 different utilities that are on the aerials that are crossing this location. So it's been a lot of work to coordinate with those utilities to relocate them temporarily, and we will be relocating them permanently. The project continues to step up the work at the bridge, including additional crews and shifts. Recent activities, we've completed the demolition of the old bridge that was not finished last summer. We've started the installation, and we're in the process of finishing the erection of the girders over the CSX and the metro tracks. And we've been continuing with the underground storm drain utilities in this area. Upcoming work, we have a lot of activities that are really starting to ramp up as we have now finished the girder erection. We'll be completing the utility relocations, completing the new bridge abutments, completing the bridge deck, and completing the reconstruction of the bridge. This Spring Street, this is a photo of the detour that's currently in progress for the Spring Street detour, will remain in effect through the end of 2025. And with that, I'll hand it over to Matt Perpich, who is our corridor-wide systems manager.
Good evening, everyone. As we start off the systems and testing portion of tonight, I'd like to share with you an exciting video of some of the testing going on in the eastern portions of the alignment.
Welcome to the Purple Line. Next stop, New Carrollton.
Great, thank you. So to start off, let's talk a little bit about what our LRV test sections are. The test sections are sections of the alignment that are determined by locations of train control systems, interlockings, and our overhead catenary wires. Testing is ongoing in Section 1 and is anticipated to begin in Section 2 in the coming months. While we are not testing currently in your neighborhood, you can expect to hear more soon from our outreach as those efforts begin. Okay, so what to expect when testing does reach your neighborhoods? Maintenance of traffic during testing. Until all of the traffic control systems are operational and tested, we will have maintenance of traffic crews, including uniformed police officers, flaggers, and intermittent traffic stops and road closures at intersection crossings. Specific MOT protocol is developed in advance for each test section to address the unique needs of that section. Hours of our testing are weekdays from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. through the end of 25. The public should consider any section live and expect to see the LRVs periodically during these testing periods. Testing outreach. So the outreach efforts include coordination with the State Highway Administration and other parties, advanced communications with elected officials, variable message boards provide on-site notifications to the community, as well as in-person outreach to schools, local businesses in the impacted communities. Public notifications to the established outreach lists are sent, and updates are posted on the purplelinemd.com website. We do maintain a safety-focused social media campaign as well. Last but not least, testing safety. So it's important to remember that during and after the testing activities, the public should consider all track live and all OCS wires live and expect to see the LRVs periodically through the event. Some safety reminders: always obey the traffic signals, look out for LRVs when crossing tracks, use only approved crosswalks, do not walk on or near the tracks, and do not stop or park on the tracks. As a reminder, our overhead catenary system, the wires that power the trains, carry 1500 volts DC. Everyone should assume the OCS is always live and carrying an extremely dangerous amount of electric current at all times. Back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Matt. All right, so as you guys know, we do like to be out in the community, and if there are ever any events or anything that you would like for us to attend, you can reach out to us at outreach@purplelinemd.com. We've attended 18 events this year, and here you can see some of those where we have been, and we are planning for 2026 opportunities. So please let us know if there's anything that we can support or come out and educate people about the Purple Line. As safety is always our number one goal, as the rail starts to go down and is tracking in Montgomery County, make sure that you are using the appropriate crosswalks, and that if you are on a bike, that you are crossing at a right angle, perpendicular to the tracks. You don't want to ride parallel; you might get stuck. And just make sure that you're using extra caution if it's wet or frozen conditions outside. Again, we'd like to thank our community advisory team members for all of your engagement. MTA has worked closely with the CAP members to get ready for these meetings. We are always looking for your input, and we thank you so much for your time and commitment to be able to do these meetings and take the feedback and share it with all of the communities. With that, I'm going to turn it over to John to talk about some community grants.
Thank you, Carla. So we're always pleased to join these CAP meetings and speak about our Beyond the Rails community grant program. The aim of our program is to provide funding for nonprofit groups to pursue their missions and make our area an even better place to live, work, and play. So we award grants twice a year. And for our most recent tranche of grants, we actually received a record number of applications. And in fact, there were so many and so strong that we decided, okay, well, we're not going to award just our typical 6. We're going to go and award 8 grants. You may recognize some of the recent awardees from this group here in the Lyttonsville, Silver Spring area. And for our next round of grants, the deadline to submit is just 6 weeks out. They're due November 30th. So if you're involved with a group doing good works in our community, we encourage you to visit our website at Purple Line MD and use the resources drop down and submit your applications. We'll soon thereafter be evaluating those applications and then letting the awardees know if they've been awarded a grant. So encourage you to apply. And with that, I'll turn it back to Ray.
Thanks, John. So our Purple Line Business Relationship Manager, Leslie Leith, who is on tonight, works with the business engagement team along the alignment, alerting them to construction impacts and providing advanced notifications in both English and Spanish. This outreach is aimed at minimizing disruption and maximizing awareness. Additionally, our team promotes businesses on our website, our monthly newsletter, and over all social media platforms. I invite you to visit our YouTube channel to see some of the business spotlight videos that have been posted. The Purple Line Small Business Grant Program, which is operated by the Secretary's Office of the Maryland Department of Transportation, launched earlier this year and has since awarded a total of $1.5 million 2025 to more than 140 businesses. The application period for the third round did open back on October 6th, and online applications are due by November 7th, 2025. You can find more information and the application link on our website at purplelinemd.com. Again, that's purplelinemd.com. All right, back to you, Carla.
Thanks, Ray. All right, so here you've got all of our contact information, all the different ways that you can reach out to us. And with that, I'm going to start the Q&A. And I'm going to read a couple of questions that we have received in advance, and then I'll move on. You can feel free to put your questions in the chat. You can type them there, or you can raise your hand. But I'm going to read off a few that we've received in advance first, and then I'll move to the chat and live questions. Okay. I'm going to start with a few area-specific questions. The first one is, please offer the public a more useful description of what is happening at the Lyttonsville Bridge. It seems that our staff likely need to alternate more often in terms of letting cars through in each direction. Seems to be backing up right now. Scott Glass, would you mind to give us an overview of the Lyttonsville Bridge and what we can expect there in a little more detail?
Sure. The Lyttonsville Bridge is in the process of getting a deck overlay as a process that uses hydro demolition, and in the we're trying to get this completed here this fall. There is a latex concrete overlay that is applied after the concrete layer is removed, and that is we're trying to get that kicked off here in the next 2 weeks, and that's a process that takes about 6 weeks to get through. And that is constructed on one half of the bridge and then followed by the other half of the bridge. So two-way traffic always passes across the bridge during that time.
Great, thank you. And I think that is a good lead into the next question. The Lyttonsville Bridge route is a great alternative when Jones Bridge is backed up when heading north. Are you going to shut both routes off at the same time next month when Jones Bridge closes? No, we're not going to do that. The Lyttonsville Bridge route is never going to be closed and will operate one way in each direction. But we are going to close Jones Mill Road for 2 weeks, November 2nd through 16, so that we can complete phase 2 of that bridge construction. Next question is, when will the Spring Street Bridge be completed? And for that one, I'm going to pass that to John Undeland to address.
Yeah, we're keenly aware of the importance of the bridge to the community, and we're doing everything in our power to complete the bridge by the end of 2025. We've added more crews, we've added more shifts, and we're evaluating our progress to more specifically be able to pinpoint when we'll be able to open the new bridge. And we'll, of course, be communicating the results of these evaluations with you and the rest of the community. It's no secret the progress on the bridge has not progressed as originally intended due to a variety of factors, some of which were beyond our control. As Scott, you heard from Scott a little earlier, it's very complex to work in this super tight area, and we've got to coordinate our operations with CSX, Mark, and WMATA, and 7 utility companies. And just as an example of this, how this complexity works, is we're advancing our work on the bridge. If we have CSX, Metro Rail, or MARC trains approaching our active working area, we got CSX flaggers who've got to shut down the work, halt the work for a moment while the trains pass. And so, this has and will continue to cause intermittent delays. Scott also talked about the utilities, the overhead utilities, which has complicated and delayed the work. As we were advancing the foundations for these overhead structures, we encountered and damaged an unanticipated storm sewer system, something like 40 feet underground. And this held up bridge constructions for several months because at that point we had to fix a sewer line, repair it, and then relocate it, and then tie it in with the remainder of the system. So these are just a couple of the things that have extensively pushed, unfortunately, the Spring Street Bridge project. We really do understand the importance of the Spring Street bridging, and we're committed to making every effort to get the new bridge back in service as efficiently as soon as possible.
Thanks so much, John. All right, now I'm going to move to a couple of the questions in chat, and then I will go to folks that have their hands up. So thank you for your patience. First question, was an environmental impact survey done along the Spring Street Bridge to 16th Street Bridge corridor? And specifically, did it analyze the flooding risks involved with destroying the low-lying wooded area that served as a floodplain along the Ballard Street extension, 3rd Avenue? Scott, can you address that one?
I can expand a little bit. That there is extensive environmental analysis that's done with the hydraulics of the area when they design the project and the temporary stormwater management controls, as well as the permanent stormwater management controls. And these areas are all absolutely taken into consideration. That being said, we do have one of the problems that we've had, John mentioned, and I mentioned earlier, at the Spring Street Bridge, a main alignment of an interceptor line that runs underneath the tracks. While that was being repaired, there was some disruption to this area that was not anticipated because of the location of that storm connector.
Thank you, Scott. Scott, while I still have you, question for scheduling around Jones Mill Road. When will we be completed there?
At the Jones Mill Bridge, we are this month going to be erecting the second half of the structure, and we will have most of that roadway reconstructed by the end of the year. As far as it being fully open to traffic, we will maintain a portion, a lane across that bridge for the access to finish off the work on the alignment. That's one of the access points to the alignment and the CCT trail. So that the full, complete opening of that bridge and all of the signage and safety railings and railings and fences that go along with it will be fully final in the spring.
Thank you. All right. I think this next question I'm going to pass to Ray. Is there any analysis being done on the intersection points at either end of the Lyttonsville Bridge to see what would be the best way to ensure traffic flow while maintaining pedestrian safety?
Yes. So analysis was done as far as for how any maintenance of traffic is going. Anytime we implement those different things for while we're constructing, and then also for how it will be in the operations piece. So it is done to maximize the safest travel movements through the intersections, and that is part of it. So
thanks, Ray. Next question. Why is Lyttonsville Place Bridge overlay rebuild necessary? This Purple Line overpass bridge was to have been fully completed by the Purple Line contractors in 2020, but has been restricted to only 2 lanes ever since. Was the original bridge installation faulty?
I can answer that question. The Lyttonsville Bridge was partially completed when the transition of contractors took over, and the remaining work that had to happen was part of the assignment of the new contractor on the job. There are elements of the bridge that had to be removed and reconstructed, or that were not ever completed, and so that process has been ongoing the entire duration of our work. There's been a focus to get the work on the alignments in progress and underway, particularly at the Lyttonsville Maintenance Facility. It's a major element of our overall system, which we'll be transitioning our communications systems to this fall. And that is the reason that we've been trying to get this the remaining elements of the work on that bridge completed. And over the last few months, we've been focusing on trying to get this overlay done before the end of the year and finish that work.
Thank you, Scott. All right, now I'm going to move to the hands up in the order that they are in. So Joel Ryerson, you are up first.
Thank you for taking my question. No, today I went to my work to the party in one of the departments. And when I caught the bus, the subway first, and I got off the Silver Spring. Looked like it didn't do much wiring or anything. And then when I left my work, when I came to work, I saw that Lyttonsville station as well. It looked like they didn't do too many things there. No, beam poles or any overhead wires yet. Same thing with Woodside, 16 Woodside. I didn't even see the station. Because I took that number 5 White-on bus to Silver Spring. I looked over, I didn't see anything much done to the station. When are they complete those stations? That's about it. Thank you.
So the Silver Spring Station is in progress, and it has got a lot of the same challenges that the Spring Street Bridge does with the coordination of work operations over the CSX and the MARC rails, as well as the operating WMATA station. So the progress is slower, and a significant amount has to be done at night in very short windows of time. Usually 2 to 3 hours are all of the work that can be done on a daily basis there at night, that has to be done at night because of the crane service operations to the station.
Thank you, Scott. I will now, Joel, did you have anything else?
I just wanted, I guess he misunderstood what I was saying. I didn't see any poles yet, no overhead wires yet. When are they gonna install the poles and the wires for those 3 stations?
They're coming.
16th Street in Woodside and 7th Spring. The only thing I saw was the one in College Park. Maybe they have delayed or something.
So the sequence of the work, Joel, is we get the tracks installed, and after the tracks are installed and they've all been we call it profiling, where the elevations and the grades of the rails are established. The follow-on contractors that use the rail, and they use high rail equipment right on those rails to install poles and the overhead catenary and a lot of the wayside equipment as well. So as the track starts to go on the ground down through this corridor, you'll see the poles come behind the track.
Thank you for answering the question. I'm understanding now. Thank you.
Thanks, Joel. All right, Clark, you have your hand up. What can we answer for you?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for your time and being here and the presentation. It's very informative. I have a couple questions, and I'll just ask one and maybe put my hand back up after. Maybe you've answered this in previous presentations, but have you all, as the operators, figured out how the fare box will work, whether the fare collection will be integrated with Metro, whether there's a separate payment card? How will that be working once services are open? Thanks.
Hi, Clark. Yes, we get the question a lot, so yes, we've answered it. But yes, we will take the Smart Trip card as that's integral as to being part of integrating with WMATA system, and we will take the Charm Pass card as it works with the Baltimore system, And we're looking in ways to making sure that we are staying with the times too. So I'll say that piece, as we know that WMATA has just recently changed some things, and we're just working on that to as much as possible to include those options too.
Great. I assume that means have to pay, I guess, and other ways to do it. So thanks for answering that. I don't see any other hands up. Can I go again?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thanks. So this is related to the CCT. I know we've asked you also before, when is the trail going to open? Can we ride the trail before the train's running and open to fair service? But this question is, I'm wondering, more nuanced about, are there sections of the CCT that you anticipate being open sooner because of construction that aren't parallel to or abutting the train service? Are there connections we can anticipate for the CCT to be open before full length of the CCT trail is open?
Thank you for the question. So we are working to complete construction of the trail in the spring and summertime of next year. And then we'll be working closely with Montgomery County to open up the trail. I hear on the different pieces of, are there other pieces, but it's a little bit more complex in being able to do that. So we are looking at different options, but right now our goal is to complete construction of the trail and then work with closely with Montgomery County, which we are already, on when we can safely open up the trail to allow people to use the different parts of the trail.
Thank you, Ray and Clark. I've got two other questions in chat, and then I can come back if other people want to put their hands up. Next question. When did the stormwater line break take place, and was this southwest of Spring Street Bridge? When was the repair completed, and is this line being ultimately taken out of service in favor of the new 72-inch line crossing under the CSX right-of-way from Ballard Street to a point midway along the former Spring Center?
Okay, I can answer your question. The storm drain line was encountered at the pier of the Spring Street Bridge on the south side of the bridge, and that is going to remain an active line, but the new utility system for the project that was mentioned, the 72-inch storm drain, will take a significant, or most of the capacity of that storm drain system. Most of the drainage now will come from the track corridor that is still running through that pipeline that was repaired and relocated, and the bulk of all of the all of the storm runoff that is in the drainage area on the north side of the tracks will be captured by the new storm drain system and this crossing that under the new crossing under the train tracks.
Thanks, Scott. Next question. What is the plan to replace the trees that have been removed during construction along the Purple Line? I mean, we have, go ahead, Scott.
We have reforestation throughout the corridor with in pods throughout the corridor. There's also landscaping packages along the corridor that are focused in key areas that have high visibility and along the CCT trail and at the stations. But there is reforestation that is part of the landscaping that will come when the significant amount of the grading and site activities as they're completed. We are getting ready next week to start some of the landscaping program on areas of the corridor in Montgomery County that are completed, that are a little bit further to the west. And then we'll be starting that landscaping program in the spring and late spring in the corridor from through Lyttonsville and up to Spring Street.
We're going to drop the landscaping plans in the chat so you can see those as well. And if you have follow-up questions, you can certainly send those to us. They just went in now. All right, the last thing I see in the chat is a nice comment from Clark. Really excited to see the progress in your presentation and in our neighborhoods. Thanks for your hard work and keep it up. Thanks, Clark. Does anybody else have any questions they want to put in chat, or does anybody else want to raise their hand to ask a question? Okay. I'll give you a little bit longer and just say, I know we did recently receive in the last 24 hours a bunch of questions from you guys. So we're working on answering those, and those will be part of the Q&A that we post on the website. So if your previously answered question or sent question didn't get answered tonight, that will be coming. I think I see one more in the chat. When will the new land Lyttonsville Park be handed over to Montgomery County? Ray, do you know? Scott, what's our?
Yeah, we'll have to follow up on that one unless Ray knows that one.
No, we'll have to follow up on that.
Okay, thank you guys. We'll get back to that one. Stacy Brown, love the artwork in Lyttonsville Station. Stacy, also, I got your message today. I'll be calling you back in the morning so we can coordinate that. Next question. Ballard Street was extended to 1618 Ballard Street when a home was constructed before the start of construction. Subsequently, it was partially repaved when the water line work was completed several years ago. The grade was changed slightly and resulted in ponding in the 1616 Ballard Street low point during every rain. Will this be resolved with the completion of the stormwater work? And will the road be repaved at the end of the current work?
The ponding that is mentioned is part of will be resolved with the new drainage that is now going to be captured and draining through the underground system that runs underneath the CSX and Metro tracks, and that those installations are going on now. Part of the challenge with the Spring Street Bridge is the activities that can work concurrently. We'll be moving in this coming weeks to with some other crane equipment to install the foundations in that area, and then we'll be finishing up that storm drain, the new storm drain in that area that will capture that water that ponds at times in heavy rain events. And then all of these paving areas, these roadway areas, will be looked at as the work is completed to determine how they've been impacted by the construction activities.
Thank you, Scott. Does anybody else have any questions? Want to raise your hand, put anything in chat? All right, well, I will go through and address a couple more questions that we received in advance now. Question: will there be maps at stations that people can consult as they exit the trains? Station signage is a part of the design, and the signs won't be installed until closer to the end project. But yes, there will be station signage for you there. Will there be directional signs at the station pointing the way to Bethesda, Silver Spring, Rock Creek, Rosemary Hills, Lyttonsville Park, the new Lyttonsville Park, Talbot Avenue Bridge, the Caulfield Center, the business district, maybe with some space for individual businesses, the annex, and maybe even the neighborhoods? Each Purple Line station will include a map and directional signs. We're currently waiting to receive the final maps from the MTA, and the station sides will be installed by our team MTS, hopefully by the end of this year or early next year. We have some art and transit questions. Regarding the art and transit at Lyttonsville Station, 3 questions below. Will the girders remain in a brown color or be changed to gray like the originals were? Is it too late to change the color for them? The original girders were black, which may have grayed over time, but in this installation, that brownish tone is the final condition there, so that will stay the same. Second one, on the vertical girder rising from the station, one picture is obscured by an awning over the elevator entrance. Could the picture be brought down a foot or so that's fully visible? The installation is not yet complete, and we will suggest this to the artist for review. So we'll look into that and see what we can do. Any word on the second art in transit project? The second piece is by Curtis Woodley and is a mixed media mural with images digitally transferred onto ceramic tile for the wall that will be adjacent to the station. This contract is signed and the work is underway, so that will be coming soon. Okay, let's see. I think I see some more questions in the chat. How are the art installations chosen? Early on in the project, we had, I don't know if you guys remember this, we had open houses where we introduced the artists to community, and they took feedback as they were developing their art installations. So we had a bunch of community input, and then they were selected from there. And then since then, we've just been finalizing those contracts and doing the coordination to be able to get to where we are to the point today to be able to install those. So that was the history on that. Comment from Webb. We are excited to see the CCT work starting along 3rd Avenue. What is the estimated completion date for the work between South Springwood and Noise Lane? Scott, I don't know if that rings a bell for you.
The trail corridor that runs along the CSX corridor is going to be lagging a little bit behind the corridors to the west. So through Lyttonsville Station and back to the west, that portion of the trail we're working on finalizing now to get asphalt paving underway this fall. And in the early to mid-spring, we'll be getting to the same condition for the portion of the trail that runs along parallel with the CSX and Metro rails. And that paving that corridor of the CCT will be occurring in late spring.
Thank you, Scott. From Meg, will there be parking spots at Lyttonsville Station? If so, how many spots? The Purple Line will not have parking spots at stations. It's more kind of encouraging pedestrian and walking from your neighborhood. So there will not be kiss and rides or parking spots there. So no. Question from Carlotta. Are the art implementations only those placed on the outside of the elevators, or will additionally art be placed at the station level as well? I think, Carlotta, if you want to send us a note specifically for which stations you're talking about, we could share offline with you. Each one's different, right? So we can share with you details on each one. And I know we have those on the website as well. Lyttonsville. Carlotta's. Chris Stokes, can you talk a little bit more about the Lyttonsville art installation?
The Curtis Woody's will be mounted on the walls next to the walkways that lead down to the station. The stuff for the Dave Hess's is already installed, and then there'll be additional images installed on the girders. Similar to a few of them, he only installed the ones that were at the highest level that would be hard to get to. The rest are not being installed until a little further on the work being done is done. Was there another specific question that was?
Carlotta, did that answer your question, or do you have any?
There's
yes,
no
sorry. Just for, I guess it's easier if I respond. Yes, thank you. That answers the question. I was, I guess, thinking that maybe some additional art. I saw on the video there were like statues or some kind of like 3-dimensional art piece being covered at one of the stations. So just curious if something of along those lines was also going to be implemented at the Lyttonsville station. That's all.
Lyttonsville station is the only station on the alignment that actually has 2 artists. So it has more art than most.
And then we just popped that in the chat for you there, Carlotta. You can see the link that Chris Scruggs just put in there. And then another question from Joel for Scott Glass. If we could be able to inform Pat Tyson on the timing of the handover of.
But then
No,
Well,
a
anyhow,
different Joel. Different Joel. Hold on 1 second, Joel. I'll come back to you. This is Joel T. If we can work with Pat Tyson on the timing handover of the construction site land for creation of the new Lyttonsville Park by local Montgomery Parks. Yes, we will coordinate with everybody and make sure that Pat Tyson is informed on that as well. So thank you, Joel T.
now I can go.
Yes, you can. You're next, Joel.
Okay. You can see the maps at the metro station. They have two maps. One is the system map for all the stations. And the other map is the neighborhood map. They show all these things in the neighborhood. Look at the Fort Detrick Annex and the community center and all the different things in the neighborhood. Are they going to do that same way, like those two maps, one for the purple line system and then the neighborhood map?
Let us get back to you on that, Joel.
But nobody couldn't answer the question.
We can. We just we'll take a look at a couple of things and we'll get back to you.
All right. Thank you.
And just a comment from Joel T. He appreciates Scott Glass' factual replies about Purple Line construction progress on site. Thank you, Joel. And Scott. Does anybody else have any questions they'd like to raise their hands or put in chat? All right. Well, if that's it, we greatly appreciate your time and patience. We know you guys have taken the brunt of construction and we are working as quick as we can to get it complete. Thanks again, and please reach out to us if you have additional questions, and this presentation and the Q&A will be posted in the upcoming days. Thank you and good night, everybody.
You're welcome. You have a good evening.